So today's video is going to be a TBR video. I haven't done one of these in so long. I've come up with a list of books that I want to read during quarantine and also somewhat related to pandemics and quarantine, which is kind of, I don't know, odd I suppose, because I feel like a lot of people kind of want that sort of escapism away from what's going on around the world right now. But for me, I am a little weird. I like to, let's just say that I kind of like to immerse myself. I've got 5 books here today because we're going through this sort of pandemic right now. Some sort of sick part of my brain really wants to read about pandemics, the apocalypse, quarantine. So I've come up with a list of books that I want to tackle during this time. I feel like I'm not going to get into these books very soon, but I do want to kind of read them throughout the year, and hopefully I would have completed these books by the end of the year. Some of these books I've had for quite some time now, and there's some that I've recently purchased. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Okay, so the first book I have here, I've been wanting to read for the longest time now, and it is I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. The apocalypse has happened and we're following the last man on Earth. I mean, technically, how does he know he's the last man on Earth if he's only in one city? You know what I mean? He's alone, living in a post-apocalyptic world at night. He needs to deal with vampires. I'm pretty sure there was some sort of virus outbreak turning people into vampires. At least that's what I think it is. This is supposedly science fiction, so I don't think it's going into the paranormal. Also, the fact that we have vampires and there's no humans. What do the vampires drink? Do they drink like animal blood? But eventually they'll run out of those too, so I don't know, unless they're feeding off each other, which is also a gross thing to imagine. I feel like I'm making up my own plot right now because I don't really know much more about this. I have seen the movie adaptation with Will Smith in the past. I mean, I thought that was an alright movie, and I've heard that the book is totally different from the movie adaptation, and I'm really excited about that because I always thought that the movie kind of had like this, I don't know, blockbustery feel. I don't know, for some reason when I always looked at the book, it seemed a little bit more serious, realistic, less actiony. I don't know how to describe myself right now, so I'm gonna stop there. I'm just really excited for this, and it's really short too, so that's kind of appealing to me. I honestly have no idea what to expect, but I've always loved that sort of post-apocalyptic setting. I'm into it, can't wait. Have you read this book? Did you like it? Let me know. The next book I have here is Nod by Adrienne Barnes. This is a book that I randomly picked up at the bookstore quite a while ago actually. I think it was around last year, like mid last year when I picked this up, but I never came around to reading it, and I was just really curious about it because it deals with people that just can't seem to sleep. And that's pretty relatable because I'm slightly an insomniac. The concept of people not being able to sleep and then slowly dying makes me appreciate sleep a lot more. This book is set in Vancouver, and basically it seems like there's some sort of epidemic where people are beginning to not be able to sleep. In the back it says 1 in 10,000 can sleep, and they've all shared the same golden dream. So it seems like only a select few people can actually fall asleep, and so pandemic ensues. It sounds like it's going to be really intense. I suppose if something like this does happen and you just can't sleep, wouldn't you just get medicine to take for you to fall asleep? Maybe they deal with that in this book too, but I suppose taking medicine every day for you to fall asleep can't be good for you either, so I know it's that or you die. But yeah, exciting stuff. I've heard nothing about this book. I was just more curious as I was browsing the store and I came across this book. It just was very eye-catching. I just realized that that is an I. I have no idea what nod means. Very curious if it's actually going to be good or not. The next book I have here, I feel like I've mentioned it before in a previous video, that is, and it is The Day of the Triphens by John Wyndham, and this is one that's also kind of set in a post-apocalyptic setting. There is this incident that occurs which pretty much blinds everyone in the entire world, and this one guy was in surgery or something, so his eyes were covered when this incident happened, so he can see plants mutate into the new carnivore sort of upper species that begin to dominate this world and eat people. And so it's a really intense situation to be in. Civilization in chaos, and the Triphens, huge venomous large-rooted plants able to walk, feeding on human flesh, can have their day. So the plants are called Triphens. Duh. So this is a book that I've been meaning to read for a very long time now. It's been a few years since I've had this book, and I feel like it's time to delve into this. Hopefully I enjoy it. By the way, does anyone else look at this picture of the guy and just think that he kind of resembles Nathan Fillion? Kind of looks like him, doesn't it? The next book I have here, it's got very mixed opinions on BookTube. It was published last year, and it was a book that was pretty hyped up, and it is Wilder Girls by Rory Power. I was immediately drawn in by the cover. It is stunning. That aside, I'm really excited about this book, mainly because it is dealing with quarantine. It's set in this school. These kids are pretty much quarantined because there is this mutative disease that starts infecting the students. And so I heard that this is a bit more graphic and a little bit more gory. There's a lot of body horror. It's YA fiction, so I don't know how, you know, disgusting it can actually get. Body horror doesn't really get me that squeamish when I'm reading about it. I don't really mind so much. I feel like reading body horror is less disgusting to me than actually seeing it visually, but that sort of stuff doesn't really faze me, so I want to actually read it for the story, and I want to see how good it actually is. But one thing's for sure, that cover is beautiful. I've saved like the biggest book for last, the most challenging for me because it's so intimidating by how big it is, and it is The Stand by Stephen King. This book, my friend actually lent this book to me, I think like early last year, maybe the year before. I don't even remember. I'm sorry that I've kept it for so long, and so I really want to just read it and give it back to her because I feel very guilty about borrowing books, and I've been meaning to read this for the longest time. It is probably considered one of Stephen King's best books out there. It is huge. It's 1,300 pages. Oh my goodness. That is very intimidating. I honestly can't guarantee that I'll get to this book this year, but it's one that I do want to try. I have a bookmark here. I did start it initially. I don't remember when, but I got up to 120 pages. I don't think I've ever read a book that's more than 1,000 pages long. This book is very relatable to our time. I think it starts off with this sort of plague that has flu-like symptoms that kind of destroy the world, but then it seems like it has some sort of otherworldly fantasy elements to it. So that's it. Those are my quarantine pandemic books that I want to read, and hopefully I enjoy all of them. Before I sign off, I just want to say, I know that it's sort of a scary time right now, and I know saying that we're going to spend the time reading books, I am definitely privileged and thankful I'm able to be spending my time reading at home, and I hope you guys are also staying safe and you're able to read as well and spend the time with family, with yourself. But more than anything, I do really hope that you guys are well. I guess that's it, guys. I hope you guys have a lovely week ahead of you, and until next time, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!